Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. The Kogi State Chapter of the People's Democratic Party yesterday called for the outright cancellation of results of the November 16 governorship election in the state. The PDP, in a statement signed by Bode Ogunmola, rejected the results, the election results, describing it as another world war. According to him, the result of the election did not reflect the wishes of the Kogi State electorate. He says the election was a sham, adding that the results were written allegedly by the state government for the Independent National Electoral Commission officials to present and read. Well, joining us to discuss this and more is Kola Ologbondiyan, the People's Democratic Party spokesman. Welcome to the morning show.
Kola, good morning.
Thank you very much.
And thank you very much for coming to the morning show.
Good morning, this one.
Thank you very much. Well, this morning you are wearing two caps. The cap of the spokesperson of the People's Democratic Party and the cap of somebody who is from Kogi State and who went home to vote and observe the process. Quickly, let me ask you, what's your assessment of the elections we had over the weekend in Kogi and Bayelsa states? And what is the position of your party going forward?
The position of the People's Democratic Party, as we speak, is the total cancellation of election in Kogi State and an outright rejection of what happened in Bayelsa State. That's first the position of our party. However, using Kogi as the parameter to measure the indices of what happened in this election, I will conclude that it was a sham. And I'm absolutely disappointed in the person of the chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. We had told him as a party before this election that he should use these elections in Kogi and Bayelsa to redeem what is left of his own image and the image of the commission by ensuring a free, fair, and credible process. This was all we asked for. But in the situation that I witnessed in Kogi State, where police took over the snatching of boxes, the collation of results, and the INEC had little or no role in the process, is unfortunate. And it shows clearly that the fate of Nigerians in the democratic process has been completely damaged. Of what need is an election in which people were killed, in which chopper, helicopter was flying ahead of electorates who were on the queue at the voting centers and throwing tear gas from the sky to the people, while policemen were shooting guns on the ground. It's unfortunate. It's a war situation. For instance, in my own ward, Okekoko ward, we had elections. INEC concluded elections at the 9 polling units, signed and stamped, and declared results. At the point of collation, suddenly they claimed that soldiers and policemen were fighting and they were shooting guns. And the collation officer took off and ran away. We chased him to the police station. The area commander told us that he has gone to the INEC office and they have told him, they have sent for her in INEC office to come back and collate the results. When she didn't return, we went to the INEC office. Between herself and the electoral officer, the EO, the electoral officer, they bluntly refused to collate our results. Bluntly refused. The EO said he will never allow the results to be collated. Wherever you turn to in Kogi State, wherever you turn to, except in the central, where they sat down and wrote figures for themselves and declared that in the particular local government where the governor comes from, Okene local government, that the APC and the governor scored 112,000 and that our party and our candidate scored less than 200 votes. I mean, it is a total sham. The only thing left of INEC is to cancel this result. Anything less than that, anything left out of this is a disappointment, is a robbery, a daylight one, is an action of perverts and rogues that participated in the process.
Well, you know, you've described this election with several verbs. I mean, you're saying it's a sham, it's a war zone, it's roguery. we are yet to see any independent observer absolve the PDP from the electoral violence or disruptions we saw in Kogi. Perhaps what may be left to be seen is who outshone who. And I wonder if your submission would have been the same if your party was in the lead of the results declared so far, because we do know that there's no winner yet. That process will be concluded this morning.
We had no capacity of violence in Kogi State. We had no capacity. We had the people. We had no capacity for violence. And the people were voting. They were ready to vote. They were at their respective polling units. Look, let me even elaborate this. In my local government, the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Matthew Kola Ologbondiyan, went to his polling unit in Beleko and carried the ballot box and the electoral materials. In my ward, like I rightly said, they said they cannot collate our results. In St. Mary's Primary School, which is in the Ayewa ward, they went and collected the ballot paper and ballot boxes. In Akutukpa Kiri, in Ayetoro Kiri, the commissioner and the party chairman diverted the materials. We had no capacity for violence. We had the people, and the people were ready to vote. I mean, how do you explain the situation where helicopters were used to throw canisters of tear gas on the people who were on the queue to vote? That is a new mileage in the history of electioneering in Nigeria. And policemen were on the ground, firing gunshots as canisters of tear gas were dropping, scaring the people and carrying ballot boxes. The video is everywhere on the social media. Go and look at it. We do not have the capacity for all this. We had the people, and the people were ready, and they voted for us.
Well, in your opening statements, you had called out the chairman of INEC. You said you had advised him that if he was not ready for the election, his organization should not go ahead. But, from what you've been saying, you've said a lot about the role of the police. And I've not heard you directly call out the Inspector General of Police, because earlier on we spoke with Professor Jibrin Ibrahim, and he had said, look, it's even beyond INEC, whatever happened in Kogi and Bayelsa states, that the problem is more with the security agencies who were not performing their constitutional functions, who have turned themselves into tools in the hands of politicians. What's your response to that?
Well, I've said, yes, I've said it clearly, Doctor. I made it clear that the police were on ground and in the air to help INEC. And, in fact, let me even buttress this. At a stakeholder meeting in Lokoja, a few days to the election, in which I was present, Natasha Akpoti was beaten up. The chairman of SDP in Kogi State was beaten up. We were all tear gassed, including the IG and the chairman of INEC. As I speak with you, not a single arrest was made. And when the IG stood up to speak, he said that, yes, the chairman of SDP in Kogi State came to complain to him and that he referred him to the commissioner of police. This was the IG who was using handkerchief to cover his nose. At the sitting, the INEC chairman also covered his nose when the tear gas began to affect all of us. Inside the hall, nothing was done. Nothing, as I speak, nothing. And painfully and shockingly to Nigerians, they brought joy helicopters who were throwing canisters of tear gas on voters, not protesters, voters. Can we continue like this as a nation? Is there a country in which the law enforcer will connive with a political party and the governor and deny the people of their rights to vote? Is there a nation? Is there a country? Everywhere you went to in Kogi State, except in Central, where they sat down to write figures and forced INEC officials to sign, there was violence everywhere. In my hometown, in my community, Kaba, a day or 2 days to the election, every non-PDP leader, majority of them, had gunmen attacking their residences, firing gunshots into their houses and destroying their vehicles. This is what we witnessed. It was a war. It was a war. And the war was not civil. It wasn't as if, we voters will engage each other. No. It was a war in which policemen aided other armed members of their force to snatch ballot boxes and to also ensure that they exchange their votes with their already printed ballot boxes. And ironically and funnily, and I challenge Professor Mahmoud on this one, Yakubu on this one. I challenge him to face the world and tell them the truth. That on the occasion of that in the event of that what happened was that once they go and exchange the ballot boxes, when they return them, they were accepted by his officials. I challenge him to come out and tell the world if this was a lie. It's unfortunate. It's a radical departure from what we know as electioneering in Nigeria. And it's even in the presidential election that we all cried out. Helicopters were not used to dispense canisters on tear gas on voters. How do you explain this? And it's unfortunate that Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari, who is perceived to be Mr. Integrity, can endorse what happened in Kogi State. Because as they claim, Yaya Bello is his son. It's unfortunate, and that's as we are concerned.
No, has the president said anything about the election? I don't think he has. So will it be fair to say he has endorsed what happened?
If he has not endorsed what happened, what power of authority? Don't forget, please don't forget, that Mr. President is the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces.
Well, on that note, Kola, let's take a short break. When we come back, you will explain further how you think the president is responsible for what happened. We'll take a short break now. We'll be right back. You're still watching The Morning Show here on the Arise News channel. Welcome back to The Morning Show here on Arise News. Still with us in our Abuja studio is Kola Ologbondiyan, PDP spokesperson, who has been looking at the elections in Kogi and Bayelsa states. And Kola, thank you for staying with us. Before we went on break, you were talking about the president of Nigeria, President Buhari, as having endorsed what happened in Kogi State, or perhaps by extension Bayelsa. And I drew your attention to the fact that the president has not in fact said anything. And it may not be fair to him to say that he has endorsed anything, because even before the election, he has spoken up against any kind of misconduct or impunity in the conduct of the elections in Kogi and Bayelsa states. But you were insisting that he's commander-in-chief.
Yes, I said as the commander-in-chief, he must take responsibility for every act of the security forces. And there's no argument about that. How did they deploy the helicopter? Who gave permission for the deployment of helicopter to go to Kogi and fire canisters on voters? So he cannot shy away from it.
No, certainly he couldn't have been the job of the president. No, it's not the president that deploys helicopters. No, I don't think that's correct.
Okay, but is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, including the police. Dr. Abati.
Yes, I'm listening.
Hello, Dr. Abati.
Yes, I'm listening. I'm saying
his job does not... Do you agree that
the president of the country does not get involved in routine operations on a day-to-day basis.
Do you agree that he's the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, which includes the police?
He's commander-in-chief of the armed forces and president of Nigeria.
I rest my argument on the fact that he's the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, and this includes the police. And I rest my argument on that. However, to proceed, it will interest you to know that all over Kogi State, except in the central, where the governor comes from, where they sat down without any election and wrote results, there was violence everywhere. And if INEC declares this result, then it means that from Professor Mahmoud Yakubu and all those involved in the process, they are fraudsters. That's the absolute truth. And this is the position of the People's Democratic Party. Because the process is a fraudulent process. It's a fraudulent process. And anybody who participates And anybody who declares such a report is a fraudster. That's the truth. That's the truth. And this country belongs to all of us. So it's whichever way it goes. Like Yoruba man will tell you, it's all over us. And the world is watching. There were EU observers. And even the civil society election monitoring group had already declared that the result was marred by violence and the election should be cancelled. So it's an exercise in futility making any declaration. As far as we are concerned, the PDP.
Why do you think that the stakes are so high in Kogi State, Mr. Ologbondiyan? And I was going to ask you because you said if they go ahead and declare, they've already declared 19 local governments out of 21. Is it not too late in the day to be crying foul?
It's not too late. We have been crying foul since the process of the election. If you go back to the social media, if you go back to all the media, we have been crying foul. We listed all, as they were snatching ballot boxes, we were listing the units, we were listing the local government, we were listing the RAC, the registration area. We were doing all this and we were putting it before the world. There was no need to collect results. In Olamaboro local government, in Okpo, the illegal deputy governor himself supervised the stealing of ballot boxes. We put all this before the world. The world is aware, so we are not just crying now. From the beginning of the election, we have been screaming, we have been shouting. You understand?
So why do you think that the stakes are so high in Kogi State? What is wrong with Kogi State? There's electoral violence and
the stakes are high. The stakes are high because the governor, Yaya Bello, has built nothing, has done nothing, and the people are determined to replace him. And this will not be the first time that an ineffective governor will be replaced in Kogi State. It has happened in APP, it has happened in PDP. So what is the exception, except the fact that Yaya Bello is seen or perceived as the son of President Muhammadu Buhari? Well, the people came out to vote to reject the governor. They came out to vote to reject the governor.
Well,
but INEC, in collaboration with the police, distorted the votes, aided rigging, aided ballot snatching, aided ballot boxes stuffing, aided the declaration of results, where even there were no voting.
Well, we spent some time on...
Killed about no fewer than... You said?
We've spent some time on Kogi State, and understandably, because you are from Kogi State. Yes. But what is the feedback you are getting from the PDP in Bayelsa State? And in the event that INEC does not cancel, the elections in both Bayelsa and Kogi State, what would the PDP do? Go to court. And if you go to court, what would be your expectation?
Well, if they insist on this cancellation, if they insist on not cancelling the election in Kogi State, as we speak, there are protests in Kogi State. This morning, there were protests. Nobody can predict the outcome of what will happen. And Professor Mahmoud Yakubu will be held responsible for whatever happened to our people. Already, as I speak to you, no fewer than 9 people were killed on the election day, including the nephew of Senator Dino Melaye in Electoral, who was buried yesterday. So we never can tell what the consequences of this will be. However, as a political party, we will follow every legitimate and legal processes to ensure and make sure that we get our mandate. Whatever they do.
Yeah, but I want you to also comment
but
on
I want to assure you.
Bayelsa.
I will. In Bayelsa, the report that we are getting is that the military took over voting. Why the police? Perhaps Kogi is considered as a very stable environment. Why the police took over the control of election in Kogi State? In Bayelsa State, the military took over the conduct of election. And our members were scared from polling units. In some local government, the whole area was barricaded. People were not allowed movement. They were not even allowed to go to the polling unit. Even when voting held, they could not protect their votes to the ward. And if you liken that to what happened in my ward, is it not funny? Elections held in my ward, there was no issue, there There was no problem. INEC themselves declared results valid in the polling unit. At the point of collision, they said that the military and the police were fighting and there were gunshots. Not an injury to any policeman, not an injury to any soldier. And yet, they said they can no longer collate the result of the ward. And they claim to have cancelled the totality of what happened in my ward. So this is the kind of thing that we witness as a party in the minority. However, we never did this to the opposition as a political party. And I want to argue this because the PDP, no matter what they say, no matter the allegation of corruption against us, no matter what they claim we did in the electoral process, we're not as bizarre as what we are witnessing in Nigeria today. It's unfortunate. And what they are doing is that they are damaging the interests of Nigerians in the electoral process. And by so doing, they are going to entrench a form of government that I will not have words to describe.
Let's talk about the performance of your party in both states, because some people argue that, the performance so far was predictable. Your party went into these elections perhaps unprepared and disunited. You even had reconciliation committees headed by Senator Saraki and Governor Makinde. So are you really surprised that the people have decided to make alternative decisions?
I will never accept that. I will never accept that. And anybody who is saying that is just buying time and buying space to support the disposition of what they have done to the electorate in both states. And it's totally unacceptable. In Kogi State, we went to the election as a united party. And as a matter of fact, as it affects Kogi State, what happened was that PDP was just the platform. It was a movement by the people to reject a wicked government. That was the position in Kogi State. And in Bayelsa State, yes, there were disagreements within the party. Yes, there was reconciliation. And at the end, the people went into the election as one. If the APC and their candidates were sure of winning, what was the need for police intervention? What was the need in Kogi State? And what was the need for military intervention in Bayelsa State? They did all this because they are not with the people. And the people are not with them. And in a free, fair, and credible process, APC cannot win in either of these states. And that is why they resorted to institutional robbery and deprivations. And they are claiming that they have won. Which is what are they talking about? I said in my local government, they went around and snatched boxes. And this happened all over Kogi State. Discarded the voters' ballots and stuffed their own inside and brought them back, and they were accepted by INEC electoral officers. And I said that using my own state, and even Bayelsa, that in Kogi State, the police took over. Have you not watched the video online? If you have not watched, I will forward it to you. Where a helicopter was throwing canisters of tear gas from the sky. Well, not to protesters,
well, Kola,
to voters.
I mean, someone listening to you will get the impression that, the PDP is the victim in both Bayelsa and Kogi State. But we've had persons on this program this morning who were also on the ground in their states or also in Kogi, either as observers or as other stakeholders. And, what came out of the various contributions is that, look, the PDP is as guilty as the APC. That, in fact, the two major political parties were involved in either vote buying or harassment. In fact, Professor Ibrahim used the expression, the weaponization of electoral geography. In other words, that each party or, politician tried to assert himself or itself, in his area of strength. So in that regard, whatever the APC did, the PDP probably also did it.
Look, I would not buy into that argument. I wasn't in Bayelsa, but I was in Kogi State. So I will not buy into that argument. Look, what strength do we have? It seems you don't understand what my positions are. What strength do we have? When mobile policemen were carrying ballot boxes and shooting guns, where helicopter was flying in the sky and throwing canisters of tear gas. What strength?
Mr. Ologbondiyan, unfortunately, we'll have to anchor
thank you
it there.
very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kola. Thank you very much.